opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And good evening, and welcome everyone to Scarefest Television. The original broadcast date is like May 15th or something like that. Who's keeping track anymore? Who's even keeping track? Of course, we are broadcasting to you deep from within the quarantine zone, but notice I've come up a little lighter on the facial hair. I have a super top secret project that I'll be working on tomorrow, and for some reason they decided that I needed less facial hair to do it, and did a little styling on my hair. Anyway, welcome everybody to the show. Important announcements. 30-minute mark, right after the commercial break, we have another celebrity announcement. Oh, those of you who thought we weren't going to be doing this, yes, we are announcing yet another quality celebrity name. And we'll get right on over to welcoming our guest and co-host. Go ahead and flip that camera over. Tonight we have Mr. Jim Beckholt. Our Scarefest regulars will remember Jim as being the single most annoying person in the building, and that's with 9,000 other people, Jim.
Yes.
That is... I got stories to tell on Jim. And of course, my co-host, Billy Crank. Welcome back, Billy Crank.
Hey, of course. Good to be here.
And now, first of all, okay, well, you got them both up on screen. I remember the first time I interviewed. Yes, you're on screen. That's the first time I interviewed the two of you together. It was when your fan film was coming out. Okay, you were doing the premiere on that, and I remember what I distinctly remember about both of you is, despite all your craziness at Scarefest, you were both dry as popcorn farts on the show.
I think we were a little bit shy. I don't know.
Billy was a little better.
He would wrong. I think we were scared we was going to say something out of the way or wrong. Or
yeah, because we're famous for being sticklers for detail around here. Billy would occasionally go into his Ernie personality, but Jim Beckholt, who, now this is why I wanted to tell this story. First year, I think, well, every time I ever met you at Scarefest, like I said, he runs around. This is the guy that used to do Ace Ventura and run around the floor, and does the best does better Ace Ventura than Ace Ventura himself. So
Amen.
there's your little plug there. But I want you to know, this man would not break character except for the 20 seconds it gave he needed to hand me his business card.
That's how you work, I guess.
So anyway, welcome to the show, Jim. Everybody, Jim was recently in Candy Corn, and a serious, like, where was that filmed at, Jim?
It was filmed like in parts of Ohio and in like parts of LA, California. So it's a little bit of everywhere between Ohio and California. Okay, well, see,
I remember when you were filming it, you were talking about LA and everything. And then when I watched the movie, I'm like, this looks like Paducah or some bullshit place. So, no, it had a really, I gave the movie a thumbs up. So just so you know. Of course, that means good. That means almost nothing to our fans, but because they know how weird I am. But now, how did you? Everyone, this is my hometown boy here. He's like the third most famous person in the county, and I'm like fourth or fifth. So that tells you something. How did you get into an actual Hollywood movie role?
Well, to be honest, it was doing the convention thing, going around, just talking to people, taking that 20 minutes to, hey, here's my business card. And Poncho actually was the one that kind of got it rolling. I heard something that he was in a film, and I messaged him, and he said that he would give the director my number. And sure enough, he called me and set up an interview over the phone and sent me some sides. And I guess he liked my look and how I got into character. So I guess it was a win deal. So me being Ace Ventura got me into
See that movie. I'm trying to process that in my little brain. The character you played in the movie, you're a douchebag. I mean, that was, it's totally out of character. Totally out of character. You were a major douchebag with very bad language. I'm just gonna say. But now, okay, I'll grant you the look. You got the whole Ash from Evil Dead chin thing going. But I'm trying to wrap my head around watching you at a convention and then the audition for that part, because that part is not even what we're seeing here, is where I'm going to. I mean, you gruff the voice up, and all that stuff. So I'm giving you 100% kudos, and I'm proud of you, and it just blows me away that
Thanks.
that
Means I did.
No, you definitely did not. Now, before I turn it over to Billy, I'm going to give you my only critique of the movie.
Okay.
Other than, I'm pretty sure I saw a modern... Everybody, this is a period piece set late 70s, early 80s, I guess. I did see one modern pickup truck, I'm pretty sure, in one of the scenes. In the background, where somebody didn't check the street real good. But I felt the kill scene. The movie was so perfect otherwise that I was expecting a little bit more out of the kill scenes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you feel that after seeing the finished product? I realize that wasn't your department other than dying in the one scene. But,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Telling people.
Yeah, okay, I guess I should have thrown that in there. Spoiler alert.
He comes back.
It's a horror movie. Everybody freaking dies. Everybody. It's just it's like Friday the 13th on steroids.
Yeah. This was a piece that Josh had put together. It's his first film, so I guess he was just worried about the look instead of it's all about the look.
Yeah, and the look was perfect. Like I said, and I might even be, it might have just been really well painted, the truck I was talking about in the backdrop. It just caught my eye. But that was, it just, everything about the movie, everybody, I am endorsing this movie. The aftermath of the kill scenes is good. It just, I had that little feeling there. So I just wanted to see if you had any input on that. But you're not going to say anything bad about the director in case he hires you again.
Oh, no.
I get it. So this was this guy's first movie as a quick follow-up.
Yeah. It's, Rob Zombie actually kind of motivated him to do so. So, it was a big deal for him. I'm going to turn it over to Billy now.
I'm just going to say, director, if you happen to hear this, if that was your first movie, we're expecting great things out of you in the future, because the movie was that good, everybody.
Yeah, I loved it, man. You did a good job. I'm super proud of you. Like, you have been through so much and accomplished, since we've known each other from the beginning, man, you've accomplished a lot, and I'm super duper proud of you. Considering you have been through a lot, and all the actors that we know, they all have a story,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited for you to be a guest at Scarefest, and for you to have a booth, a featured guest, man.
Yeah, for the first time.
Pretty cool, man. What should everybody that comes to see you at your booth, what should they expect to see? You gonna have some pictures and?
Oh yeah, I have. I'm trying to get merchandise, and I have a bunch of screenshots and stills. People can get autographs and stuff. And like half the time, I'm still going to. I'll be a guest, but I still want to give people like characters. So I'll come up with new characters this time around. You know, not just 100% Ace. I mean, just for like the nostalgia from back when, I'll do Ace a day.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's expected, man.
Okay.
You know, you're gonna be you, dude. Like that's what everybody's wanting to see, you know. So, what's the everyday life of Jim like, man? Can you give us a little?
Well, it's mainly like right now, like where I work at a grocery store, so I'm like an essential worker, and so it's been hectic, you know. 6 feet. But when I come home, it's more like art and just try to be creative during this time. This way, you know, especially for everybody out there, do something like that so you don't go insane.
Right. yeah, you got to have your thing, man.
Yeah.
So this character, Mike, what was the process that you had to go through, you know, being on a big set and everything, dude? And you know, I knew you was probably like ecstatic. He was like, you know, totally into it. So what was the process like?
Man, it's like it was actually simple, but like what I was going through the whole thing, that's what really got me to the like pushed me to that moment. It was like Mike is basically my brother Mike. Like
I got you.
Like that's who I trade, but like all the emotion and all what I was given, it was like every moment in that line of filming, like one thing after another thing and a story for another time. But it's like all of that like just prepped me for every scene. Like I don't know how it happened, and it was terrible stuff, but it somehow prepared me for every take and every go about it. And it was more like using my life as ammunition for the character.
Right. Yeah. So, and I also heard little birdie told me that somebody made you mad, and you used that as fuel.
Oh yeah, honestly, it was like a crazy moment. It was like, so all this stuff is going on. We got Tony Todd on the sidelines watching all of this, and we got grips and people and lights and all this action. We had like we had to like learn some stunt stuff from like some stunt dudes, and there's so much going on, and I was trying to remember lines, and so it was like the dude. So Josh, to get me to that point, he used my own line against me, and like he peed me off so bad that all of that's in the beginning of the film was real rage. I was so like, I mean, he apologized and it was cool. But at that moment, I was Mike. I was like, I'm going to rip someone.
Hey, the dude's smart. He knew what he was doing to you.
Yeah, he was.
He didn't mean any of that. It was just, it was to get you where you needed to be, brother.
He did. And he did it like several other times, but that one was the one I remember. And it was, you know, I think back at it now, it's just like, I'm glad he did that.
Yeah. Right on. Okay, well, I'm going to pass it right back over to Wes, man, and I'll get some more questions over to you in a minute.
Okay. We're going to head right into commercial, everybody. We'll be right back with more Scarefest Television. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Now find them monthly at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market in Lexington. Or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being.
G'day Scarefest, how's it going? Glenn here from FakeShemp.net. It's great to be with you as always. Hey, you guys love zombies, right? Everyone loves zombies. They run amok at Scarefest every single year, and so I've decided to pluck out a zombie film from 2014 that really struck a chord with a lot of people. And if you ask me, this is a zombie film that everybody should be dressing up as at Halloween. So this is Wormwood. It's part Mad Max, part George Romero, part Evil Dead. It's a 2014 film that was mostly crowdfunded, and it ended up taking the world by storm. So it's part Mad Max because of the post-apocalyptic ingenuity, the modified cars, the grungy costumes, and it's part Romero for the obvious reasons. The story is set in the early days of the zombie apocalypse. The dead roam the land just as they did in all of those classic George Romero films. And then it's part Evil Dead because of the way it's shot. Lots of point-of-view angles, fisheye lenses, and a sped-up frame rate to capture some of those awesome kills. Needless to say, Wormwood definitely is an inspired film, and yet by fusing all of those styles together, it's also a refreshingly original take on the genre. I mean, up until its release in 2014, there really weren't many films like it, at least not with so many infusions. Just a moment ago, I mentioned that it took the world by storm, and by that I mean that it swept up all kinds of awards at various international film festivals. Its laurels speak for themselves, and it is an all-round highly praised movie. So the story has a talented mechanic who loses his wife and daughter on the first day of the zombie uprising. He finds refuge with a group of men in an old workshop, and when they discover that zombie blood is flammable, they engineer a really awesome armoured truck that's fueled by the undead. This unique plot device gives the film a real quirkiness that elevates it high above the typical zombie flick, and as the characters road trip with zombies strapped to their engine, they partake in an ultra-violent and super fun action adventure that doesn't relent until the final frame. And then there's another subplot about the lead character's sister who is captured by government types and held captive for testing when it's revealed that she can control zombies with her mind. And of course it is all far-fetched, but damn if it's not fun. And the best way to see Wormwood is with an audience. But given the fact that it's been 6 years since its theatrical release, that ain't gonna happen unless savvy cinema curators with their finger on the pulse recognise the potential for this one being an absolute bona fide cult classic on the midnight movie scene. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead or the countless other zombie movies that have saturated the horror landscape over the past decade, then put Wormwood on your list of must-see movies. And if you are keen to see it, it is readily available to you over there to rent or buy on Amazon, YouTube, Google Play, iTunes. Unfortunately, I don't think that any of the streaming services currently host it. I could be wrong though, so you might want to look into that for yourselves. And one last thing, I think that it's only fitting that director Kia Roche-Turner deserves a massive tip of the hat because he's a fresh, new voice on the genre scene, and his follow-up film, Necrotronic, was also a pretty cool techno-horror about demons on the loose inside the internet. And what's not to love about that? Well, my time is just about up. Thanks for sticking around with me. I hope you felt compelled to look up Wormwood. I think you guys would really get a kick out of it. I would love to see people dress up as some of those characters at Scarefest. How cool would that be? Anyway, my podcast, don't forget it. It drops every Monday morning without fail. But that's Sunday afternoon to you guys. The world is a weird place. Anyway, I will catch you next week with some other weird and gnarly shit.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. We're back with our guest, Jim Beckholt. Small town boy done good. You've obviously got the talent, and I've seen you play comedy, and I've seen you play a serious role. What is your acting plan? Because you're in this little shitburg town with me. Yeah, and he sees my wife actually about as often as I do, which we need to talk about. But where do you envision yourself in the whole acting landscape?
Oh, I'm working to get up and move eventually, but I'm trying to get into more short films and stuff like that, and just continuously push for more and bigger things. Me and my brother did a short film called Me, and it was on YouTube for a little bit. And we've been working with people and just trying to get involved with people that is passionate about filming and entertainment in general. So it's like the more and more I do that with them, it's like eventually it'll open up the doors, more and more. But I do need to get out of this town.
We'll do what we can. Now you were in Office Uprising with your brother. Does he have the same acting bug that you do?
Yeah, he likes to entertain and likes to do, but he's more nonchalant about it. He really embodies Ash, so he's like kind of like cocky about what he does.
Okay, here. Like... Put you on the spot. Does he have your range?
I don't think. Well, that's a hard question to ask. He's done impressions of Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, but it's like we're on a mutual agreement. We're gonna pick our characters and stick to them. But I think he can get there. He actually did a while ago, Our Town at Ross. So he has range too. It's just he hasn't really pushed forward as much as I have, but it's about to change.
Now, back to your range. Now, like I said, I've seen you do comedy in various ways. Everybody that's on YouTube, it's great. Watch it. You'll enjoy it.
It's odd.
It's some odd stuff. And of course, then you get to see Billy too, and y'all are already sick of him because I've had him on the show twice in a month. But that all being said, you've done this horror movie. Most of the work that I've seen before was a comedy to one degree or another. Do you want to pursue that type of character, that more serious character, or is comedy your first love? What is your first love in acting? I realize as a young struggling actor, you'll take anybody that writes you a damn paycheck. But no, my first love is actually comedy, and it's like for some odd reason that what drives me for the comedy aspect of films, it's like it was a second nature to go for like that dark, serious character, because it's like that's all real comedians have, that mentality that they've been through some stuff, so we're going to cover it up with a smile. But I can dig into that, and I would love to do a lot more serious stuff, like I wouldn't mind doing more comedies. I'd like to do that too. Honestly, I like to do it all, to be honest. I want to do it all. Over to you, Billy.
Hey, you like to do it all, man.
I'm a jack of all trades.
I know you are. I know. All right, I'm going to go back to your character, Mike. What did you like about that character? Is there anything you liked or didn't like, or maybe something you wanted to change?
Well, that's a hard one, but yeah, I think in that moment it was like so much stuff going on that I had one direction to take it. And looking back, I probably had at least 5 or 6, 7, a good many different directions I could have taken it. It's just, Mike is Mike. And so I just went with, to be honest, first person I thought of was my brother Mike. So
yeah.
And so I just went with that character as it just was like a little bulb, just that's who you gotta be. So I wouldn't really change Mike. There's a deeper story in Mike, so
I gotcha.
Same It's the same guy.
Well, who influences you, or who is one of your main influences? Somebody that that you really like, and that's influenced your life and your acting and all that.
Well, the bigger influences that I have is like, of course, Jim Carrey, but it's also like Bruce Campbell. Like watching all his older stuff kind of gave me like the sense of I can do it, because he was a guy with so much range himself that he still just wanted to stay in the B movie light. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was like he had purpose to stay where he was with all that range, mm-hmm. but at the same time, it's like like two like Jim Carrey, Bruce Campbell, and then I have an odd one, Tony Shalhoub, because it's like he's just him. Like,
is that what he does?
Yeah, like no, that's the monk. But
yeah,
touching light bulbs and stuff.
What?
But no, it's more like the character wise. You know what I'm saying? Like who?
Yeah.
As Wes said, I never really break character. And when I can get comfortable in a character and stay in a character, like those influences, they're like method. And when I'm acting, I found out I have to be method. Right. I can snap it off, but I have to be method. And these Jim Carrey, Bruce Campbell, all the ones that really stand out as that character, they really get deep into that character, and that's what I really respect in them.
Right. Okay. One last question, brother. What advice would you give your younger self back when you first started? What advice right now would you give your younger self?
I would be like, do it now. Just go. Just go. Run away. Do it.
Yeah. It's a rough road. It's to do what you want to do and your passion, depending on what it is. It's never easy. So. Yeah. Right on. Great. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pass it right over to Wes.
Okay. And everybody, we'll be right back with more Scarefest Television. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Now find them monthly at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market in Lexington. Or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being.
History takes us to May 10th, 1994, in Crest Hill, Illinois, where a man known in his local community as Pogo the Clown was executed after being on death row for 14 years. Pogo, a.k.a. John Wayne Gacy, had been sentenced to death for the brutal murder of at least 33 men and boys. On the day of his execution, Gacy held the gruesome record of the largest number of murders charged to one individual and showed no remorse for his actions. Gacy's last spoken words before his lethal injection were, "Kiss my ass." Horror movies this week saw the release of two classics beginning in 1958 with Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. A retired police detective takes a job following the wife of an old friend who thinks she is going insane and is possibly possessed. The detective falls madly in love with the woman before she tragically takes her own life. He soon finds out that things are not as they seem, and he is a part of a sinister plot that involves the murder of his beloved. Vertigo was met with mixed reviews upon its release, but has since gone on to be one of Hitchcock's defining works. Vertigo appears in the top 10 movies of all time all across the world, and was one of the first 25 films to be selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry. It's safe to say that horror films today wouldn't be what they are without the exceptional works of art like Vertigo. Horror movies had another major debut this week back in 1980 with the release of Friday the 13th. This American slasher film was the first introduction to Camp Crystal Lake and the horrors of the Voorhees family. Unsuspecting camp counselors are attempting to reopen an abandoned camp, as they are one by one gruesomely murdered by, spoiler alert, a grief-stricken mother wanting to punish the people she feels are responsible for her son's death. Although critical response was divided, Friday the 13th was a major box office success and quickly gained a cult following. The following year, Friday the 13th Part 2 introduced Jason Voorhees as the main villain, and since then, Jason has become one of the most recognized horror icons of all time. With 10 sequels and countless pop culture references, it's safe to say that this film will go down as one of the greatest horror films of all time.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. We're going to go ahead and give you our celebrity announcement. Our big celebrity announcement for the evening. The lovely and talented PJ Souls. PJ Souls, also, oddly enough, from the Candy Corn movie, just to show that we can follow a theme around here. Of course, you also know her from Halloween, Little Something Called Carrie, Stripes. I don't remember her in Private Ryan, but she was in it. She was in Devil's Reject. So, PJ Souls, everybody. PJ Souls is coming to Scarefest 2020. Okay, now, we need to, let's get those trailers loaded. Everybody, we had a contest this week, and the idea behind the contest, by the way, Bruce Campbell, I love the guy. I love every part he's ever played, but he's never played but like 2 parts. Himself and Bubba Hotep. Everything else is him. So he's like Sean Connery. The guy played an Irish cop, a Spaniard, a Russian submarine captain, and never changed his damn accent. Loved every minute of it. Okay, back to the contest. Blair Witch apology style video to tell us a little bit about your quarantine experience. Here are your contestants.
I just want to say that I'm sorry to my husband. I didn't have to do the things that I did. I had all these projects in mind, and I just kept buying stuff on Amazon because I had all this spare time during quarantine. I'm sorry to our mailman. I know you've been here every day, and like I should leave you a tip or something. I'm sorry to my neighbors because I've played ABBA every day on my new record player. I thought it'd be okay. I'm just so scared. I'm so scared to look at my bank statement.
Everybody, that was Katie Followell. Up next, Mr. Billy Crank's entry. No, this is Jake's entry. Had him out of order. This is Jake Godbold's entry.
Macy, what are you doing? A Blair Witch parody video? Hasn't that been done to death? Okay, have at it, but you do realize I'm the only one who can actually hear and understand you, right? Oh, then who can? Please. Wes can barely hold a conversation with his wife, let alone you. Okay, dear God, I hate it when you shout. Anyway, look. If you want to do it, fine. Go ahead. But a lot of people are going to be scratching their heads. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Minnie C doing an apology video inspired by Blair Witch. Not bad. But you need a snot bubble. It's okay. I still love you.
Yes, that was Jake Godbold. And he at least fit in a reference from Snot Bubbles.
I just wanted to say, if anybody finds this, this is Wes's fault. I wanted to say that I'm sorry to Brandon and Nicole for not being able to accomplish my mission, which was to find out
I can't hear myself.
Which was real or not. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Something's coming. Something's coming. I don't know if I'm going to make it out here alive.
That volume was terrible.
We heard the parts that mattered, Billy. We heard the parts that mattered.
Those were great.
How do I keep getting dragged into this? That's what I want to know. Anyway, our winner tonight for creativity, good acting skills, and just because everybody just loves her, Katie Followell. Katie, you are tonight's winner. But our honorable mentions, you saw them right there. Jake Godbold and Billy Crank. You both get a $25 gift card. You all get in touch with Nicole. I got nothing else to do with it.
Dude, I was, I'm good. Like,
okay, save it and buy me
Mr.
liquor at
C's got
Scarefest.
it,
That's just buy me liquor at Scarefest then, if you don't want to use the damn gift card. Anyway, so that's what we got there. So we've announced PJ. We've done that. We still got a couple minutes before commercial break. So we're going to go back to our guest, Mr. Jim Beckholt. Jim, now first of all,
Yeah.
you were filming Candy Corn in, you said, Ohio and California. Of the genuinely famous people, who was on set with you? And I know, of course, Courtney Gaines was, and I think you mentioned Tony. So,
Courtney, I had a few scenes with him, and Poncho. I had scenes with Poncho, and Tony. I didn't have a scene with him, but he was off to the side,
See, now I assumed after watching the movie, I just assumed he just like showed up coasted through his 10 minutes and then said, "Bye, y'all. I'll be at the motel." I didn't really think about him hanging out on set.
Oh yeah, he hung out. Yeah.
Now, okay.
Sometimes he went to the trailer, but
now the follow-up to that is, okay, this is a big step from what I've seen you in, although, I mean, the Office movie was a pretty big production. I'm assuming that was done before. The question is, what was it like knowing that your first big name role was going to be sharing screen credit with people like Tony Todd and Courtney Gaines and PJ Souls on the billing?
Honestly, I was surprised. I really didn't know anybody but Courtney and Pancho connected to Candy Corn, and it was kind of a surprise, to be honest, with Tony, because to be honest, the first time I ever went to Scarefest, I wasn't Ace Ventura. I was just normal Jim, and I was like going around the tables, and Tony Todd happened to be the first person I stopped at and did my impressions for. And like in 5, 6, 7 years later, I'm in a movie with the guy. It's a circle.
Do you remember his reaction when you did your impressions for him?
Yeah, he actually liked it. And the funny thing is, I think Jim Carrey Ace Ventura was the last impression I did for him. And the first impression I did for him was actually Eddie Murphy. Like,
do it.
Yeah, I didn't know you did an Eddie Murphy. Would you regale us with some Eddie Murphy?
You know, Shaq, that's a nice boulder. That's a really nice boulder. Yeah, I'm going to get the old suit and do it raw. I'm going to pat you on that here. Pat you on that. Yeah. Just that.
Just that. I do Crypt Keeper and a British woman, a la like Monty Python-ish. That's the extent of my acting abilities. Now, one more question about the movie in particular. Now, in your part, I've kind of alluded to this before. You were a douchebag. Okay, spoiler alert, he's a douchebag in the movie. Your stuff has always been, that I've seen, reasonably family friendly. I guess you could argue that the Office movie wasn't. I mean, actually, the language was clean.
Yeah.
What was it like having your first big Hollywood role saying words that just would not make your family proud?
You know, I mean, I sometimes use those words. I just don't do it around public, really. I try to be nice and a good little guy, you know. Yeah, it's one of those things that I didn't really care much for, but I went all in on it. I was just like, yeah, I'll do it.
I guess I was, because you talked about, you know, getting into character, and I was just wondering if, you know, in other words, once you got into character, that's just all of a sudden, that's how you fucking talked. That's, you know, that's
yeah.
Okay.
That's what happened. I was Mike. I just let it rip. I was just, yeah, dude, and it just let it all rip. No.
Fair enough. Okay, we got one more commercial break, then we'll be back. Got our movie review from Bonehead, and then we'll be back with more and Jim Beckholt. Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more.
Welcome, Scarefest fans. This is Joe Lewis with another review. I have to give a shout out to my new social media friend, I guess. We've been going back and forth, and he's mentioned me, and I've mentioned him. I'd like to say that Glenn did an excellent interview with a director named Richard Stanley a few weeks ago. I'm really jealous. If I inspired him to talk about frog dreaming, which you should watch, it's on Amazon. When I watched it as a kid, it was The Quest, and when I watched it so many times growing up. I encourage you to check out FakeShemp and his Richard Stanley interview. Reason I bring up Richard Stanley is he's an interesting cat, and he did a movie, a horror film, an HP Lovecraft film called Color Out of Space last year, and I didn't get to watch it. I finally got to watch it last night thanks to James Thomas for my late birthday present. Color Out of Space is a Lovecraft short story. It's got Nicolas Cage in it. It's directed by Richard Stanley, whose notoriety probably comes more from the movies he didn't make and from the failed Island of Dr. Moreau. Check out that documentary. It's called Lost Souls. He directed Dust Devil. He directed Hardware. I think most people remember him from the absolute cluster that was the Island of Dr. Moreau in the 90s. Color Out of Space. Is it any good? It's beautiful. It's the only movie you're going to get with Tommy Chong and Nicolas Cage battling aliens who have some sort of pink, beautiful color. What else do you need? I get a little criticism on here for saying the third act sucks. Well, not in this movie. The problem is with the first two acts. The third act in this movie is fantastic. I had two issues with The Color Out of Space. Basically what it is this family. They live on a farm out in the middle of nowhere. An asteroid comes, lands on their farm. They start acting weird. It infects the water. There's colors at night. Things start to transform. The aliens from another dimension, from another world. If you're familiar with Lovecraft, then you should understand how this works out for them. Not very well. Should you watch it? Absolutely, if you're a fan of Lovecraft. It's a different interpretation. It's much more different than the Stuart Gordon films like Reanimator, From Beyond. There's a host of other Lovecraft. Actually, you know the best Lovecraft movie is not even called Lovecraft. He's called Sutter Kane in that movie, and it's John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness. That's actually the best Lovecraft movie. Sorry to everyone out there. No, it's not Reanimator. It's In the Mouth of Madness. So Color Out of Space. The actual issue I have with it is tone and Nicolas Cage's performance. Now, you know you're going to get a great Nicolas Cage performance in most things, that it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be crazy. This one is a little all over the place in a bad way. And it also matches the tone of the movie. There will be an absolutely bonkers creepy scene. There is a extremely under your skin scene with a mother and the son that are starting to become something else, and a baby crying's voice coming from that thing that got to me. And then 30 seconds later, Nicolas Cage enters the room, says something stupid. Lots of characters in this movie say something stupid. No one would behave this way while it was going on. No one would react this way. This is an irrational film. Now, is that his intent? I'd like to talk to him more and ask him. That's the big issue I have, is that sometimes characters behave in ways that they shouldn't. But the third act of this movie brings it all together, and it is so batshit crazy, it makes everything wonderful. So I love the third act of this movie. The first two, a little shaky. It's beautifully shot. It's quite uneven, and it's actually one of my least favorite performances from Nicolas Cage. If you're a fan of Lovecraft, check out Color Out of Space. If you're a fan of Richard Stanley, or if you've ever seen Hardware or Dust Devil, check out Color Out of Space. And I highly recommend, if you're a friend of Lovecraft, In the Mouth of Madness. If you're a fan of Stanley, Lost Souls, the documentary about the making of the Island of Dr. Moreau. And go out and check out my friend's two-part interview with Richard Stanley, okay? This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Thank you so much.
Joe just sat there and talked about what he didn't like about that movie, Glenn. So just because I picked apart a red pickup truck and a couple of kill scenes in Candy Corn, that doesn't mean I didn't like the movie. Anyway, that's for a little conversation from the chat room, everybody. Yes, I do watch the chat room. Very quick. Happy birthday, Adrian. Adrian at the Scarefest. She has her birthday today, and I know how old she is, but I'm not going to tell you because I think she lied to me. It sounded just way too old for such a lovely, lovely person. Billy.
Wes, how you doing?
Just hanging out.
Jim, what's one of your goals right now, man? I know you're working and we got all this COVID-19 whatever going on, trying to work and make ends meet and all that good stuff, man. But like, I know you want to keep acting. I do. But what is your goal right now? Like, what's your mission? Like, how are you taking all this?
Well, to be honest, it's like over all that time thinking about it, acting is the goal. But along the way, to be honest, I just want to inspire those that have the same dream as us, just to keep pushing. Really, I mean, I'm from a small town, and I was able to go do something, because I pushed for it.
Would you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Would you ever would have thought that you would make it as far as you have so far? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no. I had like thoughts of where it could have gone, but I never realized where it was going because I was just like in the moment. So it was like taking its own course. So just me being present in those moments and actually living life to the fullest and not just doing what I love, it kind of took me in another direction, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about it. You know, you learn from what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have any other projects coming up that you can think of that you can tell everybody about right away?
Well, not at the moment because of the COVID thing, but I'm making some plays. I'm trying to put my thing out there. I got a little demo reel that I'm going to be sending to people, and hopefully that'll spark some more interests and just continuously just push it, trying to get seen in some sort of way.
Right on, man. Well, I'm going to say it again, and I've told you privately how proud I am of you. And, starting from the beginning, when I first met you, man, you've come a long way, dude. And I'm not no old man in the game or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, you've done great, and I'm super proud of you. And I can't wait to see what else transpires in your life this far. And I look forward to shooting some more videos with you here soon after all this crap gets out of the way.
We got to make some plans to do so.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And I'm going to pass it back over to Wes, but I want to tell Wes that I got a message saying that you can let everybody know what your secret is, your secret project, if you like.
I'm filming a movie. Okay, it's a fucking short and Billy's in it, so it's hard to tell what it's going to be.
No, I'm not in it.
Oh, you're not in it? You just arranged all this. Well, anyway, then if they heard that question, then they've seen kind of what they're getting. So I only know how to act one way, and that's over. So just so you know, everybody. But I'm going to summarize. What Jim said about follow your dreams. Otherwise, you're going to end up being in your 50s hosting a second-rate podcast on YouTube.
Oh shit! Come on, now.
So here's a softball question for you, Jim.
Yeah.
You're obviously a movie fan on top of wanting to be an actor. What's your dream job? Who is your dream co-star?
Ooh, honestly, I would love to do a film with Jim Carrey just to see how it would play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like this eccentric energy that I present and obvious him, but it would just be
think a Prodigal Son movie with you two, that type, I think that would totally work. You're the bastard child of, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Hey, some of you Hollywood people, I know you watch the show because I've gotten called on the carpet for making fun of you. So anyway, now, and I was going to say another thing. another thing that threw us completely off the rails, and this is actually the three of us. Scarefest had all intentions of sending the three of us on the road all damn year to promote the convention. We were going to announce Jim earlier and let him run around conventions and just be his idiot self, and then Billy do whatever Billy does. And me, I was gonna sit in the booth and lick people, that, and it just this just all went to hell, and so now we're totally sidelined, the little team here, but so yeah,
hey, we'll get going again, man.
Oh yeah.
I believe it in conventions we're gonna kick off the season, and then like next year everybody will have a damn convention. I do want to plug my sponsors one more time before I let the show go. And the Spirit Drum with Chris and Charla. Their guest tonight is Gwen Allen. Gwen Allen is coming on their show. It'll be following about 15 minutes after this show, 5-10 minutes. According to how soon we can get everything set up for the next broadcast. So do stick around in the chat room. Do stick around on the channel. The Spirit Drum will be on here in just a few moments. Sponsor-wise, Akashic Awareness. These people have been shut down. They followed the quarantine. They followed the stay-at-home rules. They get to open up this week. May 20th. May 20th, they officially get to reopen the retail part of their store under certain limits. And if you hear noise in the background, it just started pouring down rain here. But AkashicAwareness.com. Go check out what all they've said about it. They get to open up their retail part, 26. They hope to be fully functional with a lot of their I hate to say backroom stuff, their healing stuff, their different metaphysical healing devices and therapy devices and pyramids and all kinds of great stuff. That's like I think I saw the 26th. Yeah, anticipating opening all services on the 26th. Spirit Mechanics. Now, Spirit Mechanics, most of their public activity is based on doing these shows, doing the mystical market, doing various meet and greet type things at the mystical fairs and things like that. Check them out on Facebook. Go to their website, Spirit Mechanics, and that's with an X.com, spiritmechanics.com, or find them on Facebook, but give those boys a shout. As a pseudo-psychic, which is what I call myself, I think that all this negative energy that's coming out of all the social media is going to eventually kick up the paranormal world into something just damned ugly. And those guys can handle it. And finally, Blue Leaf Naturals. They've stuck with me through thick and thin. Of course, they haven't been completely shut down because they do have a website. They can sell stuff. But if you go right now, free t-shirt with $65 order. BlueLeafNaturals.com. That's BLU LeafNaturals.com. Free t-shirt with $65 order. Check them out. Everybody, this has been Scarefest Television. Thank you, Jim, for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, man.